lack of tea, that there is a heavy lid. Mm, no, even before I could say it, I'm already entering into the sleep. थोड़ा theatrics भी समझो ना. So the wrong application of tamas in the right environment is wrong. So we are not talking about removing the complete tamas, but we are talking about the appropriate time for invoking what is required. At that point wherein we have to actively participate and engage in interacting with this world, we need rajasic energy. And at that point, to invoke tamas and feel lethargic is a wrong invocation. Or suddenly feel completely detached and say, anyway, this world is unreal. No, that is not required at that time. At that point, your complete involvement is required. So the right application of the right guna at the right time. Now when you look at the children, especially in the high school, on Sundays when they come to Bala Vihar, they look very groggy. And you ask them, why are you looking like this? Oh, I had a lot of stuff to do and I was up almost all night. What were you doing? I said, stuff. It's very tough to understand the word stuff. What it means is, whole of yesterday they had been goofing off. They started working. They realized they have a lot of homework, started working at 10 o'clock or 10:30. And it is at that point of time wherein they had to invoke tamasic energy, and instead of tamas, they invoked rajasic. In the morning when they have to be sattva, it is at this time that the tamasic nature comes out, and that is called teenage life. And if we continue to exist in this world without a balance over our sattvic, rajasic and tamasic, in spite of growing x and y axis, then we are not much different from the teenage mindset. Having controlled these three gunas, then when we transcend these three gunas, gunatita, it is that gunatita wherein we establish ourselves through meditation in knowledge. That is when complete ignorance or darkness of ignorance is thoroughly ridden with, like completely annihilated. So I have gone through the entire process. Hopefully I have answered the question. What is the religious significance of Abhishekam of temple idols with various food items like milk, honey, ghee, etc.? Priyaji. I'm just confirming that the one who is asking the question, because it is a continuation from last week, this person exists in the classroom. The various food items that you mentioned, they are called Panchamrita. Panchamrita, how many are the Panchamritas? Five. So there are five. Pancha Amrita. Panchamrita. What are these five? These five are 3 milk or milk products, honey and sugar. The edible honey and sugar. As in this country, the spouses call each other honey. And I'm not talking of that honey. Edible honey. So the 3 milk or milk products are milk, curd, ghee, honey and sugar. Pancha Amrita. Sometimes they add phalodaka, the fruit essences or fruit juices. The fruits that are usually used is coconut or coconut water, milk or banana or the banana, the liquid puree or something like that. So various juices are also used for specific needs. But usually Panchamrita is not a fruit salad, but it is just these 5 elements of milk, curd, ghee, honey and sugar. So these are the five. In fact, it is not even sugar, it is the jaggery, the raw format. That is what is used. Uh, this was about 10 years ago. There was an extension of the Dallas temple. It was like a wholesale temple. You name the deity, you will find the deity there. Right? Almost every form of deity is there. This is good. One temple where everyone, wholesale, you can find them. Say hi and hello to everyone. In what you call a one-stop shop. So they were extending it, and they had installed the Navagraha and Hanumanji's Murti in that temple as one of the extensions. So they said, why don't you come to inaugurate that and preside over to accomplish that Prana Pratishtha program. And while I was received, the then secretary, I think, I don't remember the name, but the secretary, she said, Swamiji, when you get the opportunity to speak after the Prana Pratishtha, you should tell the congregation that will be assembling not to waste this milk, yogurt, ghee, honey and sugar on these pratimas, but instead donate it for a good cause. So I had a big chuckle inside my head. And the big chuckle was, she was trying to shoot over my shoulder. She was trying to place the bazooka on my shoulder and press the trigger. I said, "Ye to hone wala nahi hai. That ain't gonna happen." I just smiled and nodded my head. And because of my such, I don't get invited back in such environments. Which is okay by me. So I just nodded and said, "Ruko, mic to aane do. Let me get the mic." Yes, I have this term which I have patented. I call these set of Hindus as neo-intelligent, liberal, secular Hindu. I'm not praising them. Gali de raha hu. Neo-intelligent, abhi uthe hain. They're just woken up. And because of their long-standing slumber and whatever they see, cannot grasp at what is happening. And based off of their ignorance, they would want to blabber around saying that, see, at least if you can ask like this question, what is the significance? There is a meaning in this question. You already make a judgment call and say that these things are funny, these things are useless, and we shouldn't be doing it. Instead, do something else. So my first objection is, who is stopping you to go do whatever that other thing is? Why should it always be in lieu of this? Outside the temple, there are so many beggars. Why don't you give this to them? Do this also, do that also. Who is stopping you? Why should it be always that this has to be stopped so that they can be provided? That's a wrong supposition in first place. Like there's another thing that question, I don't know there's a question of that kind here, but people ask about Shraddha. Why do we have to do this? Why can't we just go feed somebody? Feed that them also. Who said no? But why should it be that this process has to be thrown away and then do that instead of this? Just purely based out of ignorance. So first, let's not make that supposition. Now that this question is rightly framed and it doesn't require that amount of bashing of the other thing that I did, what was the answer for the significance? Panchamrita. Panchamrita. Have you ever gone to a spa? I have never been to one. I'm asking if you ever have been. Have you? I'm not cornering you, Baba. I'm just genuinely asking, kaisa hota hai? Yes, no, you have. So what is the most elaborate spa treatment that you ever had? Mud pack is the simplest thing. We used to do that while playing soccer. और कीचड़ में डूबो, हो गया mud pack. Huh? हाँ. So the spa treatment, they say that there are some, there is a diamond brush to exfoliate the skin and to bring the glow, glamour, whatever. हाँ जी. Where is your other half? Is he here today? हाँ. Birthday gift, कुछ giving you. No, I'm just doing Narayan here. मुझे क्या मालूम? What do I know of it? आप जानो वो जाने, नारायण. So the point is, you have these expensive spa treatments to exfoliate, to bring in glow, anti-wrinkle, vagere, 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 right? Similarly, these 5 elements are called Amrita Tattva, because the milk and the milk products have been processed in various levels, and it comes to this essence of the plant kingdom in the form of milk, the milk into yogurt, the yogurt in the form of finally ghee. They have, I think, milk bath also, right? The milk bath and the oil baths and the essence oil, what do you call those? Herbal essence oils and those baths. So these are all. You are from Kerala, you should be knowing it. I think in Kerala they have those baths, right? So for the Lord, these Panchamrita Abhisheka, it is done because most of the idols in the sanctum sanctorum, in the Garbhagriha of the temple, are usually made of 3 or 4 materials. It is either a black stone, the granite stone, marble, Panchaloha, the what do you call it? The alloy of 5 different metals, or crystal, the sphatika, the crystal, not the Swarovski, but the crystal sphatika. So it is made of these different elements. अभी नहीं चाहिए पैक. Narayana. So with these 4 different kinds of materials that the main statue is made, the idea is that the temple remains efficiently used for various devotees coming there for generations to come. And the statue or the idol and its integrity, the material integrity, has to be maintained for long periods to come. You don't want it to chip off, break, or crack up. By applying these 5 materials, the 4 different materials that we just mentioned, black granite, the marble, Panchaloha, and the sphatika, or there are some made of even gold or silver. Now, these materials do not break, tear, or crack for long periods to come. It has been noted that when these statues have been constantly worshipped with these, the longevity of that statue is maintained. And when you do the prana pratishtha, the longevity is expected for many temples. For us living here or growing up here, suddenly historical value, like you go to Fort Worth or somewhere, they say those brown, reddish brown plaques on the road, they say historical markers, and you go read it, it says about 110 years ago this was in Fort Worth. This was the first place where there is the first train was looted. There is a, right? Allen also, I saw that. So there's a historical marker. So our historical marker, and they say it's 100 years max, maybe 200 years. In the Indian temples, you will find them there thousands of years. And those statues have been in that form, in that radiant form for thousands of years. And it is this continuous Abhisheka which maintains its integrity. Wherever these are not performed, those statues crack and they start shattering. And that has also been seen. So what is the significance? To maintain the longevity. And that statue maintaining this longevity, when these Abhisheka is performed with the mantra, with the prana pratishtha done in the sanctum sanctorum, you are drawing in positive energy into that murti. And into that positive energy, when you do the ambulation, the pradakshina done in a clockwise direction, you are aligning your internal magnet into that positive energy. That when you are done with the puja, Namaskar, Chamatkar is over, then you come outside, you are expected to sit for 5 minutes so that you meditate on the form of the Lord and restabilize your mind into that balance, into that positivity, that the experience becomes complete. And when you step outside, you feel positively charged, you feel that mental energy rise up into its positivity. Therefore, this is to be done on a regular basis. I think I answered it. Today's run rate is going pretty good. What are the basic lessons learned for Pushpaji? Where is she? It was done, right? All 3 questions? Shaivites and Vaishnavites were also done. How do we control our ego so that it doesn't overpower us? This was the question that was not done, and she's not here, so we'll wait for her. Easy way. Can you please explain the vasanas, likes and dislikes, and how it relates to the choice we make? Srini ji. Oh, क्या है यार ये क्वेश्चन? ये पूरा रामायण सुनने के बाद आप पूछते हो राम सीता की क्या है, सीता राम की क्या होगी, तो मुझे तो दुख लगेगा अभी. So that was the first question. Okay. If these choices are what drives our karma responsibilities, how do we make sure that we are doing what is right and not a slave of our own vasanas? You research, tell me what is the answer for next week. I am not going to spoon feed you on this question, because we have talked about it extensively in this chapter. You better come with an answer next week and read it out in the public. I am not answering this. Your prarabdha. No, this is something answered. This is very elaborately answered. So please come with an answer. अगली बार नहीं आया है ना क्लास को, घर ढूंढ कर आऊंगा मेरे डबल बैरल गन के साथ. नीरव जी. Do thoughts have consequences as karma? In Satya Yuga, the beginning of the Yuga cycle, in Satya Yuga, the impact was that you have a thought, and the thought carried its positivity and negativity on the individual, and it had its consequences. But in the Kali Yuga, this frame of time that right now, unless that thought expresses out in the form of an action, the consequences are not borne by the individual. Okay, there's a protective layer here. That thought which is negative does not have the consequential impact, but if the thought is positive, it has its consequential impact on the individual. Kya protection? right? So it does not hurt to entertain positive thoughts. Having said that, there is this Japanese Japanese scientist who does research on water particles and thought manipulation. So if you can just Google it up, somebody please help me Google it up. This is one time that I'm allowing you to use the gadget. Japanese scientists working on water or water molecules. Whatever name comes, please tell. So what he does is he crystallizes these water molecules and exposes them to various thought energies. And when he looks at these water molecules in the microscope, you see the pictures, you see the photographs, you will find very surprising that those which have been exposed to negative energies, the molecule is very disfigured molecule. But those which have been exposed to positive thought energies like love, compassion, empathy, and things like that, you will find that the water molecules are more structured, more balanced. It has a kind of symmetry in it, and it's a balance in it. So what he tries to conclude is that he has done experiments with Buddhist monks chanting, the Hindu monks chanting, and to the water, and he finds that as the chant is more positive, the molecular structure or the effect of the mantra vibration on the waters brings it more closer to symmetrical existence rather than a confused, disoriented molecule. Did you find it? Ha, that one. Louder. Masagu? Emoto. Emoto. Okay. Yeah, he's been doing this research, and there is also a documentary called "What the Bleep Do We Know?" So if you see that documentary, his work has been included in there. There are a bunch of 18 physicists who work on metaphysics and quantum physics. They take his work, and what I would love to bring in as a conclusion on that aspect is human body has been about 70 to 80% water, liquid, and these positive energies have their impact on the water molecule. The more we have these positive thoughts, positive energy, and the positive mantras being chanted, 80% of our body gets impacted. And probably the reason why, when we take shower, we have mantra for it. When we do puja, the cleaning process is done with the water, and after the cleaning process, it goes through all these mantras, and at the end we take the charanamrit, so that positive energy or positively charged water goes inside, charging up the rest of the particles within. So all said and done, please entertain as much positive thought that you can consciously bring in that impact at a physical level. Hope I have answered. Wow, रोज ऐसा हो. Oh. He's like, oh boy, again मैं फंस गया. So next week, the answer. Any more questions? I feel very accomplished today. No doubts, no questions, no clarifications. This is the day for the teacher. Because this is That was the whole idea. ABMM. आ बैल मुझे मार. Yes, sir. How to do? Huh. What is the perfect way of doing Namaskar? Why do Namaskar? First thing that I would say is it is never a single hand salute. It is both hands to be put together. Now, why both hands to be put together? You put both hands together, then it would actually be the most safest, um, safest and non-bacterially invasive, way to greet each other. Otherwise, you hug and shake, and you don't know where they have put their hands, and you turn around and put little funeral and then do this. Yes, I am so glad to see you. Dur se, from distance. It's one of the medically safest way to greet each other. Now, in science, we have learnt that the right aspect of the body correlates with the left hemisphere of the brain, and the left part of the body with the right hemisphere of the brain. And that is also one of the reasons why we insist in the Indian tradition or in the Hindu mindset to give with the right hand and to do with things on the right hand and to receive things with the right hand. And many of us have been told growing up that left hand is a dirty hand, right hand is a good hand. I used to find it very stupid or hilarious, because both hands are my own extension. How can you call one as a bad and one as a good one? If one is bad, the whole of it is bad. If one is good, the whole of it is good. How can it be from the basis of good and bad? It's only later that the meaning set in, wherein the logic, reasoning, and viveka, discrimination, works in the left hemisphere of the brain. And when you correlate it with the right hand, you give, take, or do things with your right hand, you tend to be logical and more conscious logically to do things. Therefore, right is right. Right? So the left part of the brain correlates with the emotions and the emotions with the left hand. So when you bring both aspects of your being together, you are not allowing yourself here or there in various percentages to be scattered all around, but to bring the entire of you to that present moment, saying that to that Lord in you, to that presence of divinity in you, I am not offering myself in percentages here and there. Like, sometimes you are in a gathering coming and together, and you look at somebody and then you get back to your work, and because you are caught up somewhere else, and that person smiled, so it would not be nice if you did not, and then again you continue with your work. It's only so much that you can. But when you are offering yourself in Namaskara, you are bringing yourself to that present moment. In that present moment, you are bringing 100% of you in offering yourself to that divinity within. Therefore, join both hands and do Namaskara in offering. The word Namaskara can be divided into the Namaskara. Namaskara is Namana. Namana, the act to salute. The act to salute, Namana, means that place where there is no mana or the ego. The ego is being mana, indicative of the antakarana, which is also the ego. You dedicate, or you are offering that individuality at the altar of divinity by doing the prostrations or salutations. From a distance, you would always do the Namaskara, and then you can do it this way, this way, this way, in various postures. I am not a dancer to tell you about different mudras. But I would definitely tell you to that, put both hands together and offer on the altar. Or even, that's what I like about many of the North Indians, it does not matter where they meet their elders, whether it is in an airport or whether it is in the railway station or anywhere it is. The moment they see their elders, the first thing that they do is touch their feet. And sometimes we do it only halfway. I would say that's where I tease them saying kabaddi kabaddi. Like, that's how they come. So, डरा क्यों रहे हो यार? आराम से करो, प्यार से करो. Bend down and do the namaskara. So the namaskara is also done panchanga or ashtanga. And ashtanga is what is called sashtanga namaskara. Ashta anga, 8 limbs. All the 8 limbs, in the act of prostration, you offer your salutation. But the women are expected to do only panchanga and not ashtanga because of the uterus. Therefore, you bend down on your knees and offer the namaskara at the altar, whereas the men do sashtanga, complete dandavat, like you fall on the entire floor with your hands extended. That would be the extension of namaskara. Continuation. Other question. Sacred thread, what is the significance? The janev, the sacred thread. It is one unique way to reach that corner of your back where your hands cannot reach, so that you can scratch. And while doing so, you can run an old number. Twist kar rahe. And it becomes a good dance beat also. That is not the significance. Whenever we have a program, and I usually pack all the things in required for the program, and if I miss the safety pins to tie in a cloth or something, where or who is the best place to approach for safety pins? You know where I'm going with this, right? Mata. And any mother who is still wearing the Mangal Sutra. The Mangal Sutra is a very good place to hang the safety pins, lock, key, I don't know. The Dick Tracy, all gadget king, right? So it is all around the Mangal Sutra. You open a lock and it's not there. And something will be hanging in there which will correlate. Knives, daggers. I'm just exaggerating right now. Similarly, for men, that is a good place to hang the key for the safe. That is not to be misused for that either. And the most ingenious method in which I saw this sacred thread being used was in Banaras, wherein there was this group of brahmacharis that came in, and I was also sitting there in Gangaji taking my bath. So this group of brahmacharis come, take their bath, and then immediately get up, apply vibhuti on their forehead, turn towards each other. This fellow whose the janev is wet takes that and then draws 2 lines. To make those 3 lines, use that. I thought, "Arre wow, what a utility!" Just in those days, there was this ad which would say, it was about the Idea mobile. Kya idea hai, sir ji? That was the tagline. And I was like, wow, what a beautiful way to use janev. These are the misuses of janev. This is not the sacred thread has to be used, because the moment you use it, this pattern, the sanctity of it is lost. The sacred thread for a brahmachari has to have 3 threads in it, and the 3 threads knotted down, and that knot is the Brahma Grantha or Brahma Granthi. So the 3 threads indicate the 3 planes of consciousness. The 3 planes of consciousness are the waking, dream, and the deep sleep, and the Brahma Granthi is that which unites. So it is the same Brahman which acts in the waking world as the waker, in the dream world as the dreamer, in the deep sleep as the deep sleeper. And that which sustains all these 3 realms to be supported by, it is that Brahman. And through the introduction to the Gayatri Sandhya Vandana, when the sacred thread is given, the idea is that you transcend these 3 realms to abide in that Brahman. When this brahmachari gets married, the brahmachari now becomes grihastha. The grihastha takes the responsibility of another individual, therefore another sacred thread is added in. It is not just a physical relationship that you get married to, but it is a spiritual significance to come together, that the brahmachari now takes the responsibility, saying, my 3 worlds of experience to be dotted into that Brahman. Similarly, all the interactions as a couple should lead us to that Brahman. That it is as one unit that we put all our efforts, fulfill all our responsibilities, so that we get closer to that God within. Now, as a process of convenience, there is another layer of sacred thread added in. So there are grihastha wears 3. Seriously? 3? Now, once you wear the 3rd one, you don't need to wear the upper cloth, especially in the tropical environment like in India. When you are performing this puja vidhis and various rituals, the upper cloth is also a requirement. Wearing the 3rd Janeu, you are not required to wear the upper cloth. Lower cloth at all levels is a must. Some clothing is a must. But for the grihastha, the 3rd upper cloth is removed by wearing the 3rd layer of Janeu. I think I've answered it. When you get into sannyasa, all 3 layers are removed and you perform the shraddha, thereby renouncing the entire world and worldliness and transcending all limits of karma bandhana. You had one question? Yes, please. Now I have to be PC. No, it is not Priyanka Chopra. If that is what you are all smiling about. Oh, we didn't even think about that, Swami. I get hit by such things when I go to congregations other than this. So I am always updated with their genius way of looking at things. It goes back to the concept of Hindu meat eating and not meat eating. So traditionally, those who are Hindu are expected to not be consuming non-vegetarian and to be consuming vegetarian. So you're going into that temple, Sanctum Sanctorum. There are temples not just in South, but even in North, even in Nepal, there is Pashupatinath temple. And in Pashupatinath temple, when you go inside, if there is anything on you with leather or you cannot go inside with that leather on you. animal. Ahimsa is what we teach and we follow. Therefore, the non-Hindus, those who have been practicing Hinduism of non-violence and ahimsa, even in Guruvayur, I have seen them enter. Like we have our own acharyas. There is one Amma in Canada, in Toronto. She is from Poland, and she was with a group of us, and they immediately stopped her. She was wearing veshti mundu and what do you call that? Veshti and mundu only, right? The sari, the half kind of sari. So she was wearing it, and she was stopped because she looked white. And the moment she said that she is a Hindu and that she has been a follower of Swami Chinmayananda and she is a part of Chinmaya mission, immediately they said, please go inside. So it's mostly on a faith-based or a trust-based environment that forces the Hindus to be a Hindu. Because in this environment, it is not that the Christians or the Muslims or others who have deteriorated Hindus, we are good enough to beat ourselves to nothingness. We Hindus are very genius at that. Because we have our own practices of conveniences. So getting back to that, most of the temples expect that you follow those traits of non-violence being the basic dharma. Okay. This is the answer for Guruvayur. Now coming to the Sabarimala. Now what can I do? Ayyappa had instilled these norms. Now go talk to Ayyappa. For the regulations that he has set up for his place, who are we to command or demand something? If I have certain regulation in my house, you agree with it or don't agree with my house, my wish. You want to come, follow the rules, right? When you have a party in your house and it says dress code, there has to be tuxedo, there has to be and if they don't follow it, do they allow them? You have the right to refuse. Similarly, now Ayyappa had taken the vow of celibacy, and there was, I don't remember her name, she challenged him saying that one way or the other she is going to get to him and finally marry him. They said, na rahegi baas, na bajegi basuri. You allow them to come is when there is a threat. You bar them from coming, there is no threat. Now he wants to, poor fellow, maintain his celibacy. Why do you want to be a threat by going there? Let him stay where he is and let you stay where you are. And now you create this layer saying that, oh, women are not allowed, womanhood is being insulted. Panga kyun lete ho? Poor fellow wants to be in his own world in celibacy. Let him be. Now, if you are God, why should you? He has taken a certain standpoint. In his house, he wants to remain as he is. It has nothing to do with you being women, or he wants to maintain the decorum of whatever pratigna that he has taken as Ayyappa. The rest of the temples you can go. Please. Let him be. I pleaded on your behalf, okay? I am trying to score my point again with him. What is that? So I hope I gave you the answer, right?
Women are allowed there into Ayyappa's temple.
Who?
Women.
Yes, that is what I told her.
But beyond a certain age.
That is what is the below a certain age and beyond a certain age they are allowed. In between is where there is a discrepancy. That is exactly what I didn't want to say, but you made me say now. That in between age is where he has threat to his celibacy. He said you are barred. And now you question why? It's as simple as that. He wants to maintain his celibacy. छोड़ दो ना बेचारे को. You knew the story, right? Endame. Or it's a totally different question. Huh. That question you need to contain because I have to go to the ninth grade to answer some questions. Okay. So hold on to that question. Ask me next week because I have to go attend the other class. No, I understand your question. I'll answer it next week because I have to go answer some other questions in ninth grade. So I'm taking off. ओम शांति 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 हरि ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः हरि ओम.